Travis Wingutzel, the prophets of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints know they're a fraud. They just won't tell Mormons. They perpetuate the lie that they're the one true church, succeeding from Brigham Young, and the Wikipedia likewise was done by members of this church, as they say that Brigham Young is the second president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And even on the chart on the Wikipedia page of all the branch-offs, it shows that Brigham Young's church is the main line from Joseph Smith. And with Mark Hoffman, as I'm sure everybody remembers the Murder Among the Mormons on, what was it, Netflix? Mormons thought that they had escaped a potentially destructive thing to their church and their status as the one true successors. And so with Murder Among the Mormons, were again out and forced to say, Mark Hoffman was a disgruntled Mormon. We don't know why he did what he did. We know exactly why he did what he did. Church just won't tell us. He got a hold of original documents, learned some things, and with his skill as a forger, purposely set out to prove the prophets were not prophets, that they would not be able to discern the lies that he presented to them, and that they bought from him. And so the Salamander letter, it's faith promoting mixed with a salamander. And so the church, got in the news with another faith-promoting, well, if you don't know the Salamander is Martin Harris writing a letter and says, the Joseph Smith, the Book of Mormon, gold plates are true, and Joseph Smith told me about a salamander and all this stuff, and I saw the gold plates. Oh, okay, yeah, Joseph Smith is true. And there's a salamander that talks to Joseph Smith now. But the one that made the news, the church news even, by Hal Knight, church news staff writer. This was back in print days. The main title, Utah finds 1828 writing by prophet. And so they show the Anton transcript that Martin Harris supposedly had taken. Characters copied from the gold plates. You notice how Primary still has the song, The Golden Plates? It's gold plates, guys. Gold. But picture at the top has Mark Hoffman, N. Eldon Tanner, Spencer W. Kimball, who was president at the time, Marion G. Romney, and then Boyd K. Packer is in the back, and then Gordon B. Hinckley. They're pointing to Scripture. Kimball has the magnifying glass, and Mark Hoffman's leaning over. Yeah, so when do I get that Deseret coin? this is humiliating for the church. The church believed this because it's the Anton transcript. It proves the church is true. And the Salamander letter, which, it's Martin Harris. So, okay, the church still at that time did not even want to have us Mormons know about the rock and a hat yet. And so they were a little uneasy with that. But, that it doesn't destroy the church. It proves it's true. But there was another document that he was lying in wait to write or forge. And this one the church bought and hid because this was damaging. It's the blessing of Joseph Smith to his son, Joseph Smith III. Now, it's now known as a forgery, but the church was scared of this one. Let me read it to you. It's somewhat short. A blessing given to Joseph Smith III by his father, Joseph Smith, Jr., on Jan 17, 1844. Blessed of the Lord is my son Joseph, who is called the third. For the Lord knows the integrity of his heart, and loves him because of his faith and righteous desires. Well, this seems perfectly fine. Why? What's wrong with this? This is faith promoting. Joseph Smith is true. And the Father's blessing. We're about families. This is great, right? And for this cause has the Lord raised him up, that the promises made to the fathers might be fulfilled, even that the anointing of the progenitor shall be upon the head of my son, and his seed after him, from generation to generation. For he shall be my successor to the presidency of the high priesthood, a seer and a revelator and a prophet unto the church, which appointment belongeth to him by blessing and also by right. Where's translator, Mark? Where's translator? You forgot translator. You see, this is what Mark screwed up on. No translator. Joseph Smith always prophet, seer, revelator, translator. But go back and watch solemn assemblies, or in this last April one where they do the sustaining vote, which is nowhere in Scripture, and listen. Just listen. Nelson, prophet, seer, revelator, and president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. No translator. Oops! Mark Hoffman pulled an anachronism. Would have been easily identified as a forgery, but the brethren, Kimball, they were freaked. And they bought it and hid it until the bombings, and until they came forth and helped with the prosecution to show that he had provided other forgeries. It does go on to continue. Verily thus saith the Lord, if he abides in me, his days shall be lengthened upon the earth. But if he abides not in me, I the Lord will receive him in an instant unto myself. When he is grown, he shall be a strength to his brethren, and a comfort to his mother. Angels will minister unto him, and he will be waft as on eagle's wings, and be as wise as serpents. Even a multiplicity of blessings shall be his. Amen. And so if not for that one line, which Mark Hoffman pulled an anachronism to expose it was a fraud, but the church didn't know this. They'd already long since before, with Brigham Young, took out translator. And so, yeah, the church believed, the prophets believed, Kimball believed, Hinckley believed, Packer believed that this was real. And they needed to hide it, because it means that Brigham Young is not the true successor. And so the church dodged a bullet, or shall we say, bombs, when Mark Hoffman used bombs to get exposed and now is in prison. Right? Church is safe. Church is true now. Mormons can go back to normal. Everything's fine. All is well in Zion. Nothing to see here. Move along. Right? Anybody familiar with the Joseph Smith papers? I would be shocked if Mormons are claiming to be faithful Mormons and are not searching the Joseph Smith papers. You had Elder Cook get up at conference and say everything's fine in the Joseph Smith papers. They're great. It's true. Our church is true. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. Just trust me. Move along. Right? Why don't women have priesthood and priesthood office again? Right? Yeah, well, that's not the bombshell that I'm going to refer to, because that's a different bombshell that if Mormons actually did their research would go, hey, wait a minute, Oaks, you especially, Joseph Smith gave women the priesthood and priesthood office. You've been telling us it's not the mind and will of God. You lied to us. What's going on, Oaks? You're in succession to be the next president. And he's been lying to us about Joseph Smith's church. Let alone that they claim Joseph Smith was Christian and formed a Christian church with Jesus as our Christ. It's amazing how we all missed that one. But yeah, when you don't get taught the learning of the Jews, you don't know, and you just skip on by the rest of the Book of Mormon. Oh, there's Jesus. Okay, learning of the Jews is about Jesus. The Jews are Christians. Dear God. So 19 July 1840. There is the discourse, circa 19 July 1840, as reported by Martha Jane Knowlton Corray, and this is B. There's also an A. I like B. B has a lot of fun stuff. Now, so talking about the latter days and about Zion, there's some information that Mormons aren't aware of, because where are we returning to, Mormons? Oh, we're not returning to? Nelson says this is Zion? Everybody's to gather to Salt Lake City, huh? Okay. See, again, the church is a fraud. The prophets know this. They know of this document. How do I know? Because it's referenced. But Elder Cook said it was fine. There was nothing here damaging to the church. Then, talking about section 101's parable, specifically verse 51, that's in our Doctrine and Covenants. So why didn't this get put in our Doctrine and Covenants? Brigham Young. Why didn't Brigham Young put it in the 1844 edition of the Doctrine and Covenants? They have the 1844 edition of the Doctrine and Covenants. Why wasn't this put in it? Why is this hidden that I had to search for it? What is in this discourse that Brigham Young did not want this published? At least in his Doctrine and Covenants. Well, near the end of "Then the enemy shall come as a thief in the night" paragraph, he's talking and says, now remember, Brigham Young and his 12 are in the audience. But before this time shall be, these who are now my friends shall become my enemies, and shall seek to take my life. And there are those now before me who will more furiously pursue me, more diligently seek my life, and be more bloodthirsty upon my track than ever were the Missouri mobbers. You say among yourselves, as did them of old time, here comes the reference, is it I, and is it I? But I know these things by the visions of the Almighty. The reference is Mark chapter 14, the Last Supper of Jesus, the betrayal of Judas. He exposes Judas. He exposes Brigham Young and his 12, who are going to murder Joseph. So who was in Carthage jail in the room after Joseph Smith with the 6-shooter that the church also kept sacred secret? Kimball had the room cleaned up, removed the plaque from the floor that claimed it was Joseph's blood, tried to have it washed out of the wood. Yeah, I can't do that with blood. But it's Hiram's blood. Uh-oh. Well, why not just change the name on the plaque to Hiram? Here's the blood of Hiram who was shot and died in the attack. Why cover it all up altogether? Yep, somebody lied in their testimonies. Willard Richards and John Taylor somehow survived. Yep. This is right here in the Joseph Smith papers. The church approves it. The church oversaw it. You know, you have Royal Skousen involved with it. Avraham Gileadi is involved with it. John Gee is involved with it. They know. And yet, this destroys the church. This is straight from the mouth of Joseph Smith, written by Martha, right? Yeah. Martha Jane. Is it because she's a woman? Because she has priesthood and priesthood office? The prophets know this document. And they whited me out for the Joseph Smith papers now. We'll test it right here live. We'll see if they've still whited me out. 19 July 1840. Which one is the full? Seriously? Full transcript, there it is. And it's back. It's back. Yay! So after exposing them, I went, oh crap, Travis did it again to us. But yeah, it was over the weekend, and there were some other problems with my internet and with my computer and with programs. Very suspicious, but it's back. I've been given the gift of translator again, that I can see now to translate the document. See, is not the words of Joseph Smith faith-promoting, Mormons? Is he not the founder? He exposed the great and abominable church. So, section 115, when Nelson gets up in conference in 2000 of April, tells us that Jesus is angry with nicknames. Do not see now. Pay attention. Know your verbs. There's present tense, there's past tense, and there's future tense. So pay attention to what is future tense in verse 4. For thus shall. Which tense? Present? No. Past? No. Future! Yay! Very good. Get a little smiley sticker. For thus shall my church be called when? In the latter days. Last days, he says. Even the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Do you understand why Joseph Smith in 1838 came out and said, owing to the many reports which have been put in circulation by evil-disposed and designing persons in relation to the rise and progress of the Church of Christ. Naughty boys, the original manuscript says Church of Christ, but you have to click on the link. And so what does he talk about? Oh, Heavenly Father and Jesus appearing to Joseph as a boy in the spring of 1820. Yes, Jesus, right? We can find the name Jesus, right? Because owing to the many reports which have been in circulation by evil-disposed and designing persons in relation to the rise and progress of the Church of Jesus Christ, do you not see we've been conned? We have all been led astray by the presidents of the church, by the prophets of the church. The prophets were chosen because they covenanted and promised under the penalty of death to keep the sacred secret, that this church is the great and abominable church of Lucifer. So 2 more days and I get to utilize Travis Wayne Goodsell channel again. I wonder if they'll be resistant. They'll most likely have spies to search thoroughly all my videos looking for anything that's a problem. The video was the false Christ of the great and abominable church. So much for my religious freedom, so much for Joseph's religious freedom. The church won't allow it. The church is a fraud, and the prophets know it. and they're trying to murder me. Because as the great and abominable church, they're trying to destroy you and the world. They've already paid the Judas price.